America thought Shelley Fabares had the dream, a perfect television family, a #1 song, and Elvis Presley smiling beside her. Behind that bright picture was a woman who rebuilt her life whenever the applause stopped. Only days after her death at 82, her story feels less like a Hollywood fairy tale and more like a lesson in surviving the chapters nobody plans.
I played Rock Hudson's daughter in a movie called Never Say Goodbye when I was 9 or 10.
Her greatest victory did not happen on a set. It came after 22 months of waiting when a pager rang with 4 words that meant she might live. The girl inside America's perfect living room, Shelley, was born in Santa Monica, California in 1944. She began working as a small child and earned her first television credit at 10, while most children were handling homework, friendship, and playground drama. Shelley was learning lines, lights, marks, and how to smile when adults need another take. Imagine growing up on a set where every room looks real, but the walls do not reach the ceiling. Adults fix your hair and tell you where to stand. After a while, where does the character end and the real child begin?
Been working for 487 years. It's just a long time. Yes, I've been doing this since I was 3.
In 1958, at 14, Shelley became Mary Stone on the Donna Reed Show. To millions of Americans, the Stone family looked like the family everyone was supposed to have. Dad was a doctor, Mom was calm and wise, the home was neat, problems arrived, lessons were learned, and life felt safe again before bedtime. For Shelley, those were real growing up years. She later said the period from 14 to 19 shaped her deeply. She credited Donna Reed with teaching her strength, kindness, honesty, and care.
The Donna Reed Show was the first time that I think if anybody was aware of me at all, it was, through that show.
Donna was more than her television mother. She became a model for the woman Shelley hoped to be. Fame gives attention, but not always guidance. A teenager still needs a trusted adult, even when strangers know her face. Behind America's perfect mother stood a real woman who took her young co-star seriously.
The producer of the Donna Reed Show wanted Paul Peterson and I to try recording to open up some new storylines for the Donna Reed Show for the following year.
Did you think this was a good idea at the time?
No, I hated it. I was terrified. But finally, we had to do it, so ahead we went.
When one song changed everything, then came the part that almost sounds made up. Shelley's television fame led to a record deal. She recorded Johnny Angel. Although she did not see herself as a singer, she later joked, "After all, I never could sing."
But it was agonizing to stand there and sing, because I'm not a singer. I wasn't being coy like, oh, I can't sing. I can't sing. I was right.
Yet in April 1962, the song reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and stayed there for 2 weeks. Across America, teenagers leaned toward radios in bedrooms, diners, cars, and kitchens. The song about an unnoticed crush became tied to school dances, first loves, and summers people never forgot. For Shelley, it must have felt thrilling and strange. She had trained as an actor, yet she was suddenly a pop star. It is like becoming known for a skill you never thought was your best. Everyone celebrates while a voice inside asks, "Can I do that again?" A #1 hit opens a door, but it also creates a room where people expect you to live forever. Shelley released more music, yet Johnny Angel became the song that followed her for life. The public often freezes stars at the age when it first loves them. Shelley kept growing, but part of America always saw the smiling teenage girl under studio lights.
So there was this just like a shot route for me to just run straight through. So I ran across the stage and I jumped into the carriage and the guy slammed the door and my foot was in the door.
Elvis, Bright Lights and Silence Shelley left the Donna Reed Show as a regular in 1963, though she returned at times. She wanted new roles and a wider life. She moved into films and became Elvis Presley's leading lady in Girl Happy, Spin Out and Clam Bake.
Well, we had a good time working together. We really did become very good friends.
Beside Elvis in the 1960s, crowds screamed and reporters watched. Shelley still had to remember her lines, hit her mark, and act normally while the whole room seemed to bend around one person. Those films gave her a place in pop history, but Hollywood love can be short. The town that calls you perfect on Monday may stop calling by Friday.
That there wasn't a romance, that we really were just friends who enjoyed each other's company.
By the late 1960s, film work slowed. Shelley later described going from constant work to roughly 4 years when jobs nearly disappeared. Anyone who has been laid off or sent application after application knows that silence. Days become months, and you wonder whether the world moved on without telling you. For a child star, the fear cuts deeper. Work is not only a paycheck, it has been your identity since before you could fully choose it. When the phone stops ringing, the question becomes, who am I when nobody wants me to perform? Shelley admitted she was not a big risk taker and was sometimes scared to chase different roles. That honesty makes her human. We like to imagine successful people kicking down every door. Real people hesitate. Real people lose confidence. Still, Shelley kept going. She appeared in Brian's Song, playing the wife of football player Brian Piccolo in a story of friendship, illness, and loss. Later, she played Francine Webster on One Day at a Time, a sharp, self-centered character far from sweet Mary Stone. She proved she did not have to remain America's perfect daughter. A second act, called Coach.
You know, the bad news for me was that the record was such a big hit that I then had to go and make an album, you know, do 11 more of these things. And I was just like, are you...
By the late 1980s, Shelley wanted work, but the right part was not coming. Then, in 1989, she was cast as Christine Armstrong on Coach. Christine was not decoration beside the male lead. She was a smart, successful television news anchor with her own career, opinions, and limits. Shelley said the role was close to the character she would have designed for herself, although nobody had been asking what she wanted. Coach struggled at first. After ABC placed it behind Roseanne, more viewers found it. Sometimes good work is simply in the wrong place, at the wrong time, before the wrong crowd. The show ran 9 seasons and 200 episodes. Shelley earned 2 Emmy nominations. More important, she found a long-term home in an industry famous for temporary rooms. Craig T. Nelson later remembered her as steady and welcoming during chaos, someone others approached for advice. That says more than an award list. Plenty of stars can hit a mark. Not everyone can make a tense room feel safe.
They had me sing very, very softly, double track my voice, a lot of violins, and a big echo chamber. I'm telling you, anybody sounds great. You put all of those things together, and it was also a pretty song.
By Coach, Shelley was not only acting in a family, she was helping create one. What the public saw and what Shelley carried, the public saw a cheerful television daughter. Shelley carried the pressure of growing up while millions watched. The public heard a light, teenage love song. Shelley feared its success might never happen again. The public saw an Elvis leading lady. Shelley learned fame could leave as quickly as it arrived. The public saw a confident woman on Coach. Shelley carried years of rejection that made the comeback matter. That gap between outside and inside belongs to ordinary people too.
I thought that I would actually just pass out before the show went on because it was a very dramatic show, and I thought, I can't laugh, she can't laugh, we can't look at one another.
A father jokes at work while worrying about a mortgage. A nurse comforts patients while her family struggles. A teenager posts a smiling photo after crying alone. A bright face can hold a heavy story. When real life became the hardest role as her career rose again, Shelley faced pain no sitcom could solve in 22 minutes. Her mother, Elsa, developed Alzheimer's disease. Shelley became deeply involved in her care, then turned grief into action by raising money, speaking publicly, and pushing for research. Anyone who has cared for a parent with memory loss knows the strange grief of losing someone in pieces. The person may sit across from you, yet part of your shared past is disappearing. A question returns, a name slips away. A daughter becomes a stranger for a moment, then a daughter again. Hollywood taught Shelley how to repeat a scene. Alzheimer's forced her to repeat love. She could not fix the disease. She could only show up, make hard choices, and keep caring. After years of speaking words written by others, Shelley found her own voice as a daughter who understood what families faced. Then her own body began to fail. In 1994, Shelley fell through unfinished flooring at home and broke every rib on her left side. Follow-up tests showed badly abnormal liver numbers. Medicine helped for a time, but in early 1999 she suffered a severe esophageal bleed. Doctors said her liver failure was life-threatening and could no longer be reversed with medicine. She needed a transplant. 22 months beside a pager. This is where being Shelley Fabares stopped looking glamorous. She and her husband, actor Mike Farrell, waited 22 months for a donor liver. They carried a special pager. When it sounded, their hearts jumped, but false alarms sometimes followed. Imagine living normally while a small plastic device controls the border between hope and terror. During the wait, Shelley became so exhausted that getting water could feel like too much. She recalled waking thirsty, thinking about the kitchen, then choosing sleep because she was more tired than thirsty. Most of us know exhaustion after a double shift, a long school day, or a night with a crying baby. Shelley's body was running out of what it needed to stay alive. Mike stayed through appointments, fear, and uncertainty. Their marriage was not tested by a bad review or cancelled show. It was tested in waiting rooms and quiet bedrooms where neither knew what came next. Then, on October 23rd, 2000, the pager sounded again. This time, the message was real. "We have your liver." Those words carried two truths. Somewhere, another family had suffered a terrible loss. Because of that gift, Shelley had a chance to live. A transplant can hold grief and hope in the same hand. The operation succeeded. Shelley later said the experience changed what mattered. Her career, songs, co-stars, and awards still meant something, but life itself moved to the center.
I was just ill. It was so awful. But we got through it. The necklace didn't break, and we did get through it. But those were scary days.
Waking up was no longer ordinary. A meal, a laugh, a walk across a room, or a quiet morning beside the person who stayed became the prize. The woman behind the famous smile, Shelley, later voiced Martha Kent in Superman animated projects and helped produce the Screen Actors Guild Awards for years. Yet her deepest legacy may be less visible than any screen credit. On August 22nd, 2026, Shelley Fabares died in Los Angeles at 82. Her family did not describe her first as a chart topper, Emmy nominee, or Elvis co-star. They described someone who brought love, strength, laughter, and comfort, and made people feel welcomed and valued. To be Shelley Fabares was to become famous before fully knowing yourself. It was to hear your voice on radios across America while doubting you were a singer. It was to stand beside Elvis, then face years when Hollywood barely noticed you. It was to return, make millions laugh, care for a mother losing her memory, and wait for a stranger's gift to save your life. Her real courage appeared when there was no laugh track, no close-up, and no one calling action. It appeared in ordinary rooms where the hardest work was staying gentle when fear had every reason to make her bitter or shut down. Most of us will never record a #1 song or act beside Elvis, but many know what it is to outgrow an old version of ourselves. We know how it feels to wait for a call, care for someone, lose work, fear illness, or wonder whether our best chapter is behind us. Shelley's answer was simple: keep showing up. Showing up does not promise a hit, and courage does not remove fear, but sometimes the role that changes your life arrives after years of silence. Sometimes the show needs a better time slot. Sometimes the pager finally rings. Sometimes the greatest thing you leave is not a performance, but how people felt near you. Shelley spent much of her life playing characters who belonged in American homes. In the end, the clearest picture is not the perfect daughter, pop singer, or sitcom wife. It is a woman tested by fame, rejection, caregiving, illness, and time, and who still became, for those around her, a place that felt like home. Watch the next video to discover another star whose brightest smile hit the hardest fight.